My boyfriend asked me to lose weight but isn't losing any himself even though he's heavier. I'm F28 and he's M32. How do I handle this? My boyfriend and I have been together for 8 months. Over COVID I transitioned to work from home. All the physical elements of my job were outsourced and I took on more responsibilities that could be done online. This combined with my gym being closed, cold winters, and less to do, I've gained weight. I'm 5'2". When we met, I was 135 pounds. When he asked me to lose 4 months into our relationship, I was 140 pounds. All the dinners and stuff had stifled any progress towards getting back to my pre-COVID weight. I wasn't ever fat or technically overweight, but I was certainly straddling that border and the heaviest I've ever been. Not healthy, and so when he asked, I wasn't offended. I already knew and I didn't mind a push. And how he asked the typical Redditor suggestion, how about we lose weight together? I took the hint, I wasn't offended, agreed enthusiastically and immediately made some switches. I could make long-lasting cut the Starbucks and make my own coffee and cut juice. Make good solid breakfasts and dinners, with lunch being healthy leftovers or healthy snacks. Now I'm back down to 125 pounds. The hardest part was exercising, but overall good for my health. I picked up 30 minutes of walking and stuck with that for weeks regardless of my other physical activity for the day. I'm thinking of signing up for a marathon and using that 30 minutes daily to run instead. But it's so hard. So far I'm turning the walk into a jog just twice a week. I figure slow progress is still progress. And I turned to him, he had lost nothing. He didn't even try. He still stuck with our Starbucks routine, instead bringing me low-calorie options which I still liked, but he'd get drinks that were hundreds of calories for himself. He goes to the gym twice a week and thinks that's what fitness means, but it doesn't negate all the poor dietary choices he makes. For example, today I ate an egg, some bacon, coffee, and an apple for breakfast. That was my biggest meal today. He ate a bacon and egg sandwich, 180 calories extra on white bread, a tangerine, a chocolate muffin, 230 calories, and orange juice, 60-ish calories. His day was filled with pop and sugary snacks. My snacks were vegetables and fruits until dinner. I understand that men generally eat more than women, but he's not a healthy weight. In particular, he's got a very large Santa belly. It's even affected our sex life because he can't do certain positions because his belly doesn't allow it. According to his BMI, he's overweight at a BMI of 28. He has a history of being obese, and I think because of that, being in the overweight category is good enough for him. I love him and I don't think he meant to be offensive in asking me to lose weight. But he didn't do it together with me like he said. He was supportive of me but isn't doing anything himself. I was enthusiastic about the result of being a fit couple together, but his idea of fitness isn't weight, diet, or health related, it's simply weightlifting with zero cardio twice a week. He literally thinks that makes him fit. What I keep thinking is, you're not the only one who wants a partner with a hot body. If you can ask me, can't you at least keep your end of it? And meanwhile, I'm here, not just shedding excess weight, but actually trying to get fit, even though exercise is, in my opinion, the worst blah blah. Of course it's healthy, but it sucks for so many reasons, not the least of which is having to blow dry my hair after each shower, which takes so much time. Injured myself at a guy I'm seeing the house. He didn't seem to care. The other day I F25, went over this guy M30, I'm seeing the house. We were drinking and I got a bit too drunk. We were making out on his deck and started fooling around. He told me to follow him and his deck has no railings. He went down the stairs and I accidentally fell off the side on metal stuff. My ankle twisted bad and he looked at it and said it's turning purple and really swollen. We talked about it for a second and then he asked me to finish him off. I was drunk so I said yes, then Ubered home. The next day I was in extreme pain and went to urgent care. I had to get a tetanus shot and they believe I have a grade 2 or grade 3 ankle sprain. I had to set up an appointment with an orthopedic for an MRI. I messaged the guy I'm seeing giving him an update saying luckily it's not broken. He didn't even reply or open the message. I know we aren't serious, but I thought it was cold. I wasn't even randomly messaging him about it looking for sympathy. I told him because it happened with him and at his house. Does it seem like he doesn't care about me? I kind of feel bad because I guess I was sloppy drunk if that happened and embarrassed. Should I apologize? Why act this way? I feel I should apologize because I made plans with him that day and kind of strung him along. I messaged him and made plans to see him at 9 p.m. He messaged me at 10 p.m. saying he just got done with what he was doing and if I was still down. I said yes and said I was coming. I was drunk and talking with friends. Then I kept saying that and eventually got there at 12 a.m. I felt really guilty because it was rude of me to do, but I honestly was drunk. So I feel I was shitty as well as him. My 14F, dad 45M, is planning on divorcing my mom 45F. My mom wants me to try and help salvage their marriage as a last resort. I don't know what to do. This is my first ever Reddit post. I just made this account today because I'd really like advice on what to do in this situation. Thank you so much if you decide to read and give me some advice. The beginning of this mess, for me at least, was the 19th of June of this year. My mom 45F, and my dad 45M, have been married for a long time. I don't know the exact length, but I'd say at least 20 years. That day they were having a super loud fight. I 14F, stayed in my room trying to ignore it by playing a rhythm game, as one does. Then the fighting sort of stopped, but my sister 17F, and I were called to the dining room. My mom and dad were at the table, looking distressed. Lots of stuff was said, but the summary was that my dad was tired of fighting and didn't feel like he belonged in our family anymore. He didn't say anything about divorce, but he sure as hell was implying that he wanted one. My sister, who was more aware of this conflict between my parents than I was at the time, snapped at both of them saying that she was tired of their fights and that all she wanted was for her sister, me, and herself to be safe. She told them to go somewhere else if they were going to keep on fighting, and they did. My sister later comforted me because I was confused and upset, but for the rest of the day we were in our respective rooms trying to cope. My parents came home at around 11 p.m. 2300 hours for international friends. The fighting died down, to me at least, but I noticed my parents weren't talking anymore and my dad was sleeping on the couch instead of their shared room. I've noticed he's also listening to an audiobook called Should I Stay or Should I Go? Flash forward to today, the 3rd of July. I was in my room minding my business as usual. My mom then came in, very visibly upset. She told me that my dad was planning on divorcing her and selling our house and other properties, etc. She wanted to ask me if I could write him a letter telling him that he should stay and not divorce my mom. This is because I had to write a letter to my parents for my 8th grade graduation, and despite how half-assed my letter to them was, it made them cry. My mom told me that because I'm my father's child, he has a soft spot for me and will listen to me. I told her I'd write the letter, and she said some other things, but they're irrelevant for the most part. This has single-handedly ruined my Dale Mayo. I already have to deal with regular 14-year-old things like my current summer school classes and an annoying crush, and that's almost too much for me already. I've basically been tasked with mending my parents' relationship. I've told my friends and they offered places to stay and support, but like me, they're all 14 and don't know how to deal with this sort of heavy stuff either. I also can't go to my sister for help right now because she's on an international school trip and I don't want to ruin her fun by dropping this news on her. It's the summer for her senior year and I don't want her to be stressed during a time she's supposed to be having a good time with her friends. Sick, my dad is very firm on his decision to divorce my mom. They've tried therapy and couples counseling, but he said he doesn't want to do that anymore and just wants the divorce.